IDF once again produced flimsy evidence to justify the reasons for shelling and bombing hospitals filled with sick and injured civilians. And this time they posted another walkthrough of another hospital, attempting to prove that it was Hamas's headquarters. And they ended up editing and then reposting the video after viewers commented that some of the evidence looked planted. So let's look at the original tweet. This is the original tweet that was posted where they said, "No cuts, no edits, just the undeniable truth. Watch as Lieutenant Jonathan Conricus exposes the countless Hamas weapons IDF troops have uncovered in the Shifa Hospital MRI building." So this video, this is another one of the videos that was put out there where the original one was of the Children's Hospital. And this one now is the Shifa Hospital that they claim has the Hamas headquarters. Let's show actually first, remember the 3D rendering of the Hamas headquarters that they came out with, and Netanyahu tweeted this out and said, "This is legit. This is the real thing. This is the proof that this is what they've got under Shifa Hospital." Let's show that again for a refresher. So this is the hospital, and they're saying, we can prove it. There's a compound under this hospital with tunnels and rooms, and this is what they're using, and this is the evidence, the undeniable evidence that Netanyahu came out with. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. So remember, this is what we're looking for when they go and they raid Shifa Hospital, when they're targeting this hospital, and they said, yeah, we know there's civilians in there trying to get, that are being treated, and NICU babies and cancer patients and whatnot. Yeah, okay, we know, but that's because Hamas has a giant headquarters underneath it. So we just have to bomb the heck out of this hospital. We have to go in, shell it, evacuate it. People will die. Well, it happens, but Hamas, Hamas shouldn't have put their headquarters there. So this is what we're looking for. So remember this. Now, the first video they showed us, they walked us through a hospital basement. They showed us what looked like a tunnel, and then but they didn't show us inside that tunnel. And so they just showed us an opening. Then they showed us a tunnel, but it was an elevator shaft, actually. Then they showed us the basement of a hospital, not an underground tunneled Hamas headquarters or anything. They just showed us a regular basement of a hospital that had been in use as buildings use basement. So here's another video. We're going to go through just a little bit of it. But let's just watch just a little, the first little bit of this video. This is what they put out as, here's the proof. This is the Hamas headquarters that we're looking for, remember. Let's play the first video, the original video. Here we go. Let me turn it up.
Shifa Hospital, as you can see from the sign. Shalom everyone, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan from the IDF here. I am in the Shifa Hospital, as you can see from the sign behind me, and as you can clearly see from the building. We are going to do a one-shot video. One shot, no editing, of all of the evidence that we have found just now in this building of the Shifa Hospital. So we're inside the MRI center of the Shifa Hospital. Israeli troops breached here a few hours ago, and we have cleared the area, make sure that it's safe. And a few of the most interesting things that we have found totally confirm, without any doubt, that Hamas systematically uses hospitals in their military operations in violation of international law. And what we have found, I think, is only the tip of the iceberg. Let me show you a few examples. Security cameras have been obstructed. All of the security cameras are covered, and this isn't the only one. You'll see the rest of them here. Follow me as we go in, and we will see.
So he says this is some of the most interesting. So remember, they're just inside the hospital. They're inside the MRI building. They're not in an underground tunnel. They're not in that bunker that they claim that they had underground. This is just inside the hospital. And he's saying this is some of the most interesting evidence. Look, they put tape over the security cameras. So that's why we know Hamas was using this. Well, for all we know, they could have gone in there and put tape over the security cameras, or who knows why. Maybe the hospital worried that the IDF was spying on them and they didn't want them to be able to see that. I mean, who knows all the reasons why people put tape over their laptop cameras because they don't want to be spied on. So are they committing crimes because they do that? Let's keep watching here.
And see the weapons that
so this is the MRI center.
This is where patients
Again, we're
come in
just
order
in
to
the
get
building.
MRI services. We'll proceed into a more secluded area. And the
secluded
lighting here
area.
is out, so we're using flashlights. We're now, as you can see,
Right, 'cause
in an MRI
they cut the power.
room. I don't know when this was used the last time. But it is definitely an MRI machine. And if you follow me behind the MRI machine, I'll show you what our troops exposed just minutes ago. In military terms, this is a grab bag, grab and go of a Hamas combatant. And if you zoom in and we get some light over here, what you'll be able to see is military equipment. There is an AK-47, there are cartridges, ammo, there are grenades in here, of course uniform, and all of this was hidden very conveniently, secretly behind the MRI machine.
I want to point out that the box that is right there, users have been able to actually, there's the images of the IDF carrying what they said were medical supplies into we're bringing medical supplies. We got all these medical supplies. And users pointed out that the corner of that box looked just like the boxes that the IDF themselves were bringing in. So they suspect that perhaps the IDF brought in the box filled with weapons to plant stuff in this hospital. Another thing that was interesting about the boxes that were labeled medical supplies that were being brought around was that they said medical supplies in English, which this is in Arabic or Hebrew. All the people in Gaza speak Arabic. And obviously the IDF speaks Hebrew. Many of them also speak Arabic, but they wouldn't be putting big signs that say medical supplies on the boxes unless they're just doing it for U.S. viewers. They're doing that for the West. It's propaganda for the West. Like, see, we're bringing medical supplies. Look at all these medical supplies. And that's the message isn't for them. It's not for the Gazans. It's for us.
The other side, we found a backpack with what appears to be very important intelligence, including a laptop, and we'll show you that momentarily. Let's go see the next room.
Okay, another thing to point out is that this is an MRI room. MRIs are magnetic. And so he said he didn't know when the last time this machine was used. It's possible it hasn't been used in a really long time. But it is just, if this hospital was in operation, because their point was, you have to remember that while the hospital was in operation, Hamas was using it simultaneously as a headquarters. And that's what they're trying to prove. They, again, have not shown us an underground tunnel network or bunker or an underground Hamas headquarters. They're just showing us the hospital. And if Hamas was using an MRI center for weapons with a big magnetic MRI machine, do we have a video of what MRIs do? I think will that make it kind of, okay, yeah, so watch this. This is what an MRI does. Is this a video? Well, look at that. It just sucks up anything that's metal into an MRI machine. You can't even get it out. So they're highly magnetic. So you wouldn't be able to store weapons, metal guns near an MRI machine in that room. So let's go back to the IDF video. So you can't store that in there. So if this was operational, the hospital was operational while Hamas was also using it as a base, they wouldn't be able to store weapons in that particular room because it would have been operational. Now, when it's not operational and the hospital is starting to be under attack and it's starting to shut down, maybe then Hamas came in while the hospital was being under attack and started trying to fight back. Maybe the IDF planted those weapons there. That's what it kind of looks like with the video. Now let's continue playing here.
So we're still in the MRI center. The backpack was found in here, and it was also hidden behind the MRI machine. As you can see, the rest of the equipment here is proper hospital equipment, right? Bandages and medical gear. It seems as if there's no real shortage because there's a lot of equipment here, but we'll leave.
Yeah, no real shortage because they were carrying boxes called medical supplies in. where they brought in probably a bunch of medical supplies and saying, see, look at how humanitarian we are. And then they drop it up and say, look at all these medical supplies. Why didn't they use these? There was no shortage. When they claimed there was a shortage, there's no shortage. And then also there's just happened to be some weapons by a box that looks like it was one of the boxes carried
for another
into
discussion.
the building.
Let's go see weapons
Yes,
and
that's for another
other
discussion.
prohibited items. As we walk through the main corridor here, our troops did a preliminary search of the area. We tried to uncover the cameras, but all of the cameras have been obstructed. You can see there's black tape covering it. And when our troops opened this closet here, which is in the main part of the clinic, this is what they found. These weapons have absolutely no business being inside a hospital. The only reason they're here is because Hamas put them here, because they use this place, like many other hospitals and ambulances and sensitive facilities inside the Gaza Strip, for their illicit military purposes. So there's Kalashnikov rifles here, even ammunition. And let's go see the next part of of what we have here.
Now, the original story was always that Hamas is operating underneath the hospital, inside tunnels, in bunkers underneath. They never claimed that Hamas was operating inside the hospitals in plain sight. There are enough international doctors, organizations that come through these hospitals that would have said, by the way, there's a lot of military guys and a lot of guns. I opened up a random closet and there was a bunch of guns. Or, behind the MRI machine, they've got a bunch of grenades. Somebody would have said something from the international community that travels into these areas, the Doctors Without Borders, the variety of different organizations. They would have said something if they were operating in plain sight like this. And that was never the claim. The claim was always that they're underground. But now because they don't have an underground, they couldn't find it underground, or if they did, it was caved in or obviously had not been used in 20 years or 30 years or 40 years even, because I believe that we do know for a fact that Israel built in 1983, they built an underground network of tunnels and a bunker underneath this hospital. So they're claiming, yeah, they've got an underground hospital there and they've got an underground bunker and an underground tunnels. They know that because they built them when they were occupying Gaza back in the 80s. They've admitted to building these. This has now been recently fact-checked again by Newsweek. They came out saying, let's fact-check the claim that Israel built these tunnels and a bunker underneath Shifa Hospital. And when they did their whole fact check, they came back at the end with, true, they did, they built it. So this has been something that's been known. They built them but it's unclear if they're operational, if they've been in use. Clearly not. If they had been in use and operational, they would be down there showing us the video of those command centers and the tunnels. Instead, they're walking us through the hospital and they're saying, trust us, look at this. The cameras are obscured. Look at these few guns that we found, and not very many, not enough to say, oh, this is a headquarters for Hamas for sure. Just that the guns were there. Let's keep playing the video. Let's actually just show, I'm kind of tired of showing because it's all the same. He goes into another room and he shows you a bunch more weapons laid out on the ground, just like the original, the video from the children's hospital where it was like, 4 automatic rifles and some grenades and a bomb, vest. But again, enough stuff that people just carry in. So it's not enough to say this is a headquarters. It's inside the hospital in the MRI building. But then there's this edited part. And let's get to the edited so they originally posted the tweet saying unedited, uncut, undeniable proof, right? And then viewers watching it said, that laptop that you guys showed looks like an IDF laptop. And you actually have a picture of an IDF soldier on that laptop. And you claim that these CDs, the CD that were used for the CD drive of the laptop, but that laptop model actually doesn't even have a CD drive. So you guys just clearly planted a laptop there that still has power, by the way, and there's no power in this. And they ran out of power a long time ago. And the laptop has power, which it would have run out a long time ago. So you guys are planting evidence, and it was clearly that they were planting this evidence. And so they ended up blurring out that laptop. Can we skip to that? To where they blur the laptop. So they're just showing more stuff. But let's skip ahead or just show the laptop, the blurred part. I'm going to try to move forward. Yeah, here's the part. Okay, so this is the original version and then the edited version where he goes in, and the original version shows the laptop, and then in the unedited version they actually tried to blur the edited version. They blurred it, and they actually cut out. So this is just the blurred version, but then they actually cut parts of this video out entirely, and the new version is just is a little bit shorter than the original version. And so then when they re-uploaded it, they did not say that it was yeah, so the edited version ends. So they blurred it out in the edited version and then cut it, and then this just continued on. And the reason is because he's pointing at the laptop, and then people are like, yeah, but that laptop is really suspect. And then he's pointing at a bunch of other stuff, and they ended up editing all of that out of the video. So and then they uploaded it again, and they left out the unedited, uncut, undeniable, and they just posted it and said, watch, Lieutenant Jonathan Conricus exposed countless Hamas weapons IDF troops had uncovered in the Shifa Hospital's MRI building. Okay, then they later today show us a tunnel. I think we have what they then, because then people made fun of this video and said, oh, come on, guys, like that's not underneath the ground. That's just like not very many weapons. And then look at this. Then they say, look at this tunnel. And they have this video of this tunnel that they claim is the terror tunnel on the grounds of the Shifa Hospital. There it is. And then they're going to show you how far away this is from the hospital. As we keep watching this, you'll see how far. This is not underground, underneath the hospital, or even really near the hospital. This is a ways. And they're showing us this entry point. And then look, there's the hospital way over there. They're like, but it's on the grounds of the hospital. So here it is as they've dug this up. But they're not going to show us inside of this tunnel. So no tunnel. We're not seeing tunnels. We're not seeing bunkers. We're not seeing any of that. And that's the excuse they've used. They've said that this was an underground Hamas command center, and that is the excuse they used to bomb, to commit war crimes, really, to target hospitals, to target medical workers, medical facilities that they should not be targeting. It's against the Geneva Conventions, and yet they've done it, and they justified it and said, well, yeah, but we have to because Hamas is here. So just again with this evidence, this supposed evidence that is not evidence or reasoning or justification for what they're doing there. And they have not been able to produce. I mean, this is as comical as the weapons of mass destruction. Oh, we swear they have weapons of mass. Next thing we know, they're going to tell us, we found the weapons of mass destruction, by the way. We found those Iraq Saddam Hussein weapons of mass destruction. They were underneath Al-Shifa Hospital. I mean, the justification, the lack of real evidence, and then they keep coming out with this fake, phony evidence that's not evidence and saying, see, this is undeniable. Now we're telling you why we did this. And the worst part about it is so many people are gobbling it up. A lot of people are looking at it and saying, oh, come on. I'm not going to buy this bull crap. You guys told me there would be a bunker underground with Hamas headquarters, and that's what I'm looking for. And that's not what you've shown me. You've shown me some cameras with tape on them and an MRI machine with grenades behind it, as if that was going on when it was operational, and a laptop that doesn't even belong likely to Hamas that was full powered with a picture of IDF soldiers on it. You know, it doesn't, none of this is adding up. So we're still waiting. This is the picture that was on the laptop. And we're still waiting for real, true evidence. But I guess as long as they keep saying this is the undeniable evidence, a lot of people say, okay, yeah, I believe you. This is okay. This must be. But that's the latest in this never ending, almost parody of what is going on with the, it would be funny if it weren't funny, but it's not funny because people are dying, because people are being killed every day. And this is the type of crap they use as justification. And it's just not good enough. It should not be to the standards of any of us who look for actual evidence of crimes being committed. I like to see actual evidence. If you're going to use the rhetoric to wage war, then you need to show me a lot more evidence than, trust me, bro, there's weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. We need a lot more evidence than that.